blood is flowing down the streets. People need to know we're living in a war zone. Hit the street.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Residentdarrell, and going all elite with me tonight is the bearded nerd. What's up, brother?
Zeshi.
Oh, whoa. That almost sounds like some Josh Crap stuff. Speaking of which, shout out Josh, former host of the show. I don't think he listens to the show, but he just had his first child this week.
He did.
So,
that
yes,
was actually going to be a part of my toast for the week.
There you go. Yeah, so we'll definitely give him a little toast. Shout out to Logan Paul for just doing the freaking Eddie Guerrero shoulder wiggle and then a beautiful frog splash. Holy crap, dude. We are live. Mania is on right now. Man, it has been a wrestling filled week for me and my kids. I can't wait to talk to you about it a little bit. But before we really get into this show, let's go ahead and toast.
So we're gonna toast to Josh. Do you got anything to toast to?
Yeah, we're going to toast to Josh. We're going to toast to our Patreon producers. We are definitely going to give them a shout out, man, because our Patreon has, it's good. It's nice. It's nice to see everybody jumping on there and supporting. So shout out to my name is effing Mayo. And I want to give a double shout out to my name is effing Mayo because I was listening to Sacred Symbols and I heard Colin Moriarty doing the credits, and it was like, my name is effing Mayo. It's hilarious. So shout out to him for that one, for sure. Shout out to CJ. Shout out to MZ Nitro. They are Patreon producers. And Redbeard Rick. Shout out Redbeard Rick. So thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you guys for jumping on the Patreon. And Logan Paul and
And the Miz just beat the Mysterios.
Beat the Mysterios for the tag team belts. Logan Paul's gonna be.
It wasn't for the tag team.
Oh, they went for the belts. Okay.
No, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, kid.
Okay. Well, wait, I thought that was one of the promos they were cutting earlier. Was saying that he was going to beat him for the belts, but that's right. The Usos have the belts, and who's got the Raw belts?
RK Bro.
Okay. Cool. So all right, see ya. All right, and then the one last final shout out, and this is toast to my brother-in-law, or technically former brother-in-law, but I still claim him, and he is, oh my gosh, yes, the Miz is awesome. He's the man. The Miz is the man. Oh my gosh. But yeah, shout out to my brother-in-law. He's the one that scored us the AEW tickets this week. So me and my boys got to go to AEW. So that was awesome. So here we go. Oh,
I got one more for you real quick.
What you got?
We can pop the top. But shout out, The Undertaker's finally in the Hall of Fame.
That's right. And the Steiner brothers.
Which are actually my dad's cousins, believe it or not. So that was surprising.
Dang, they're related to royalty. That's awesome. Here we go.
That was good.
Oh my, that was good. I needed that.
Mm-hmm.
Also another shout out, since this is a shout out show. Shout out to my soccer team, Galaxy. We freaking had a excellent, stellar soccer game today. We won 7-3, I believe it was. But it was absolutely beautiful. The teamwork, these kids were just working together, like our passing drills and our scrimmages and all the things we've been doing. It totally paid off. It was friggin' awesome. Today's game was so fun to watch, and it was really awesome. Oh, and our other team, Chelsea, even though we lost to arguably the best team in the league, my son Noah got another goal. So he's definitely finding himself in the pocket and scoring away. So he has been doing really, really, really good. So Zach, man, it's you, me. We're going to sit here and we're going to talk some games. We're going to talk some wrestling. So go ahead and everybody grab onto your butts. It's a WrestleField weekend. But we got to go see AE freaking W this week. And dude, it was a blast. It was so much fun.
I'm really jealous.
Yeah, it was fun. And here's the thing, man. So I've been to see WCW. I've seen WWE stuff. I've been to Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I went with my brother-in-law, and we took my oldest son to see TNA back when Mr. Anderson was wrestling.
Did you go when it was at the Township Auditorium?
Yes.
That I was there.
Really. So you were there for
I was
Earl Hebner's 1000th referee match or whatever.
Yeah, and because it was you know how like the stage was a little bit short, or the entrance ramp was real short.
Yeah,
and there were the like the two little sides on the big part of the stage.
Yes,
I was on that, like, if you're facing the entrance, I was on that left side. That was that was actually, I think that was my second wrestling show, and it was dope because that was still when Jeff Hardy was in TNA, and James Storm was still wrestling, so I got to shake both their hands. It was such a good show for being in such a small place.
Yeah, it really was. It was a blast, and I got to get pictures and hang out with Mr. Anderson afterwards. So
the only person I actually got to meet and take a picture with was Don West.
I've got pictures with Earl Hebner, the referee, and I got pictures with Mr. Anderson. Those are the people I actually cared about taking pictures with. So, but yeah, that was his 1000th match or whatever, and he had his son come out or whatever, I think it was. So yeah, it was cool. That was a good match. But so, funny story. This is probably one of the reasons why we need to talk about Wrestling Day is, and then for the listeners, if you've ever been to a wrestling event, wrestling is essentially a combat play. Like these guys they're doing.
It's a male soap opera.
It is redneck reality TV. So these guys are slamming each other. There's momentum shifting. It's like, oh, you got the upper hand. Oh, I got the upper hand. Oh, blah blah blah. And then it's all about getting the crowd involved. So those, how it is, wherever something's going on, things are popping, and the crowd's like, yeah, and they're like, let's go, whatever. Well, we were watching the match with Jay Lethal and John Moxley.
That was a good one.
It was a good one, and the crowd was so split because they love both those guys. Right. So for me, I'm typically pulled for the heels. I love the bad guys. The more they are, the worse. Or I guess the more heel they come off, the more I love them, right? So, in this particular case, I love Jay Lethal and I love John Moxley, and both of them were faces. Both of them were good guys. So, we're building up, we're shouting for them, and like my brother-in-law and my son, my oldest, were pulling for John Moxley, and then me and my youngest Pax, we were pulling for Jay Lethal, and we're screaming for him. And they just had like a big pop, right? So they're locked up in the ring, and the crowd's kind of quiet for just a minute. And then Paxton, I got him like these like range earmuffs for like shooting guns and stuff, because he hates loud noises. Like, he does not do good with loud noises, and he doesn't like the fireworks and stuff like that, the pyro. So I get him these the earmuffs, whatever, and he's screaming, right? And I'm telling him, all right, hey, whenever the referee gets like a 2 count, right, when it's like real close, and they don't give they don't actually do the 3 count, you yell, come on, ref. And then so he's like, come on, ref, and we're having a good time, right? We're just going back and forth with it. Well, there's a point where Mox and Lethal are locked up, and Paxton yells, punch him. Kick him in the wiener. And he screams it at the top of his lungs when the room was relatively quiet, right? So then the crowd all around us and the rows all around us were like screaming and laughing. They were like, and one guy yells out, yeah, that's right, kick him in the wiener. And then this other person behind us starts screaming. They're like, yeah, that's parenting done right. But yeah, Paxton got a shout out in the crowd from telling Jay Lethal to kick John Moxley in the wiener.
Even though technically it'd be more like John Moxley to kick Jay Lethal in the wiener. Right,
100%, yeah. So it was a blast, man. We had so much fun. I don't know, I didn't get to watch it live or on TV or whatever, but there was a point in time where Chris Jericho came down, and he was a commentator for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
When you watched it on TV, did it show him come down and talk to the crowd and talk junk for a while?
I think it cut to commercial.
Okay. So I figured that's what was happening because he came down, right? Of course, Judas starts playing. And so my son, my oldest, loves that song. So we're all singing along, we're screaming, Judas, and the whole crowd, I mean, the whole room is singing Judas, right? And so he gets in there, he's like, cut the music. So of course, everybody's still singing the song. And he's like, you know what? You're lucky I allow you to sing this song and I don't charge you royalties for it. And he just cuts this awesome promo about the crowd singing his song and butchering his song, right? So the more he aggravates the crowd, the more they're singing it. And then he turns around after he goes to get in the commentary section and somebody yells out to him and he's like, shut up, fat A. And the thing is, the crowd don't want to boo him because they love him. It's like Chris Jericho is so over. Dude, his new gimmick, friggin' sports entertainers that beat up pro wrestlers. Oh my gosh, what a freaking gimmick. What a good gimmick.
The Jericho Appreciation Society. I was like, oh God, this is going to go over extremely well.
And he reinvents himself so well, man. Every 6 months, he's got a new gimmick, it seems like, and they all work. Like, he's so good at it.
Oh, I'm just happy that, the feud finally came to a head and Santana and Ortiz kind of got away because I feel like they needed more of a spotlight. Like, I agree with the promos that they've cut on that, like trying to turn them against Chris.
Yeah. Because
they're a fantastic tag team and they need more of a spotlight and they haven't had it.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have a legal way to watch AEW. So for me, I have to watch the clips. I'll watch like What Culture. Sometimes I'll get on social media and just watch like highlights or whatever. I'll just YouTube it or whatever pops up. So I don't really get to see all the good promos and I don't really get to see all the good angles. I just see the highlights from the matches. So I was very thankful to actually get to go to the event. And dude, I've been to all these different wrestling promotions, but that crowd was really, really like old school into AEW. Like it's been so long since I've seen, it's like old ECW footage, Like that's how this crowd was into the arena, or into what was going on in there. So it was. Yeah,
I've actually been to that. That was the only WWE show I've been to is when they did the resurgence for ECW.
Yeah.
And what they did was they did Friday Night SmackDown live.
Yeah, they taped ECW,
and then they taped ECW right after it. So I got to see both. And man, let me tell you how much of a trip that was. Yeah, Friday Night SmackDown was fantastic because it was when it was the era when MVP and Matt Hardy were feuding over the United States title and they were doing all those stupid challenges every week.
Yeah.
Well, we got lucky and since it was the Colonial Life Arena, they were like they did a basketball shootout. So and Matt Hardy is just god awful at shooting a basketball. Let's just start with that.
That's awesome. Dude, it was funny because the Hardy Boys came out and they did a little segment and then they sang at the end of it. Instead of becoming obsolete, they became all elite or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it was good, dude. Everything about it was good, man. Like the whole experience, start to finish. Not to mention I was there with my brother-in-law and like we hadn't done much together lately. So like that was cool, like hanging out with him. And just having a good time, like, and the boys, I was worried that the boys might not be into it, like, especially Paxton, because like, they're young and we don't really watch wrestling. Like we haven't watched wrestling since the COVID mania, like as a family, like the first one where they had the Boneyard match between AJ Styles and The Undertaker. Like that's the last time we watched it. So, I was worried they weren't going to really dig it. And dude, I was so pleasantly surprised. We had so much freaking fun. So, I can't wait for AEW to come out with their game, like that's going to be free.
Yeah, it looks so good too.
That's going to be dope. So, all right. We're going to talk more wrestling throughout the night. Obviously, WrestleMania, the biggest event of the year, is on while we are live. And, we're obviously going to be talking about it. So, let's get into what we're playing. Let's talk about some video games. So,
I am currently playing Elden Ring. It is fantastic. It is as hard as advertised. I haven't made it very far because it is on par, very difficult. I've also been playing the game that I was pledged to play. I've been playing the Outer Worlds, progressing through it slowly. The story kind of slowed down. One thing I'm not a fan of is the fact that you have to do side missions to advance.
Oh,
Like I've said before, because some of the main story missions require you to buy certain things, and definitely don't have enough money half the time, which is unfortunate. So I have to go out and I have to do side missions and collect stuff and sell stuff and do all that good jazz.
gotcha.
Not a big deal, but kind of annoying.
How is the game overall though? Is it good? Is it pretty fun?
Yeah, like I said the last time we were talking about it, it is very Fallout New Vegas-y, but it's just more futuristic.
Okay.
But yeah, overall the game itself is good. Like I said, I wish they would give me a little bit more options when it comes to actually having to do stuff.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, we'll definitely be looking forward to the Super Loot Bros episode. You and I can sit down and I can just pick your brain about it, So that would be I might even play alongside you a little bit. I have the game. It's still in the wrapper, as most of my games are.
Well, it's on Game Pass, so all I'm saying.
Yeah, I could leave it in the wrapper and then get those stinky achievements. I got an Xbox plugged up over here that just doesn't ever get turned on. So what's funny is I'm watching it like the hard drive is blinking, which means it's doing some sort of update.
Right.
I'm just like, oh man, that's all my Xbox does is just sit plugged up and update.
Well, you should show it some love and turn it on every once in a while. It's actually a pretty good console,
Yeah. My PlayStation 5 would say the same thing. Can you please just turn me on, man? Just play the game. So,
well, you haven't been playing a lot of games lately, have you?
No. It's been busy. We've been doing some remodeling around the house. Obviously, I got the whole 2 job things going on. So, yeah, it's cool. I'll get there. I played a little bit this week. So what else you got before I jump into it?
Apex's April Fool's event is out, and the little things they do really make me come back to that game every time. I played a couple of games earlier today, and it was quite entertaining. Let me think. I started Skyrim again because I've never finished the game all the way through. But I don't know if I'm going to finish that before I finish the Outer Worlds. Kind of want to finish the Outer Worlds so I can just get it out of the way, because I know I enjoy Skyrim, and I don't know how much I'm going to continue enjoying the Outer Worlds. Like I said, it's kind of slowed down, and it's gotten kind of mid-level. It's good, but it ain't something that I want to come back to often.
I dig it. All right. Well, I played a very, very small amount of Resident Evil 4. So my wife has been very, very stressed out this week. And it's like the good kind of stress, like she's been offered a phenomenal job opportunity that is kind of like dream job opportunity. But dream job opportunity is going to make things a little difficult scheduling around here for a little while.
Gotcha.
And dream job opportunity also kind of messes up. And I am not saying, okay, I don't want to say mess up because I don't believe that it messes it up, but it changes some of the plans that we had. We've been making our plans. I've been going through my whole thing to do a career change. And that was going to open up some cool doors for me and my wife. Well, dream job opportunity kind of sounds like a dang Kingdom Hearts game. Dream job opportunity like changes the trajectory of those things a little bit and changes the days that we would be together.
Right.
So it's a lot. And I say it's a lot. It's a lot for her. It ultimately doesn't matter to me either way. But it definitely changes things for her significantly. So, I just want her to do whatever she wants to do. It's going to make her happy. I want her to be fulfilled, and I will make sure that I do whatever I got to do to help her through that. And with that being said, like I was, she's just been kind of like, I don't know, she just needed my attention, even though we didn't really do anything or get anything accomplished. It's just like, I need you to be paying attention to me. And so I was like, I kept telling her, like, let's do something together. And she just wasn't, in the headspace to just do something, watch a movie, do something fun. So I was like, well, let's, how about this? I'll just play some Resident Evil and you can just watch TV beside me, and do your thing. The way I've said on the show, we have our room set up is for that. And it's like, as soon as I turned the game on, she's just like, all right, now I need you. So, I played, like I said, maybe literally like 15 minutes of Resident Evil 4. Got up early this morning and I was finishing up some mixes on a new song for Ninja Loot. And in the process of that, I kind of like took a little bit of time while I was down here letting stuff render and just like listening back to the songs. And then you like, when you're mixing music and you're working on your music, especially writing, you got to give yourself a break. Like, one thing I've learned working on music as long as I have is that, like, if you keep listening to it, like when you're quote unquote done, like you hear what the song's supposed to sound like, the way you intended it, the way you wrote it. That doesn't mean it actually sounds like that. That you got to put some distance between you and your song. And so that you can come back to it with fresh ears and go, oh, wait a second. These levels need to be changed a little bit. This part is a little too repetitive, whatever. I always find things when I come back to it that I might not necessarily have found the first time. So that being said, I started Sleeping Dogs, one of my pledges, to kind of break up what I was doing. I played music for a couple hours. I got up early this morning, like way before anybody else got up. And, excuse me. I worked on that. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to play, Sleeping Dogs because I got 2 pledges left that I haven't finished. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to kind of change things up. And even though I really want to play Horizon and I bought Elden Ring and all that stuff, I was like, I'm going to knock these out first. So I put on Sleeping Dogs and I had heard it was good, but nobody told me it was this good. Like, it is, everyone says it's like Grand Theft Auto in Hong Kong, essentially. And I totally agree with that. But the combat is so freaking fun. Like, it is so fun. Like, for example, I told you before the show, it's Arkham style combat, but it has grappling and like finishing moves, essentially, like environmental things that you can do. Right. So I am a undercover detective, kind of investigating the triads and things like that. But like, you get in these little fights with thugs and stuff. And what I've been doing and what I'm doing right now is just riding around town and punching people. But you have like I said, like your combo based, like I said, almost Arkham style like combat. And then you can like grab somebody and it's like, okay, there's a vent over here. I can slam their head into the vent. And it's very reminiscent of like Punisher on PS2 and the OG Xbox. Like, it's violent and it's awesome. And then like there's areas where you'll have like those little in the mall and stuff where they pull down those little cage screens essentially to block their shops up.
Right.
Yeah. So like there's an area where there's one of those and I beat up a thug and then I could interact with that wall and then grab that piece and slam it down on him, And I threw a couple of guys off of buildings and things. And it's just fun. Like, it's stupid fun. And the graphics look great. I'm playing it on PS5. It's the PS4 Definitive Edition. But like, okay, it looks good, man. Like the lighting on the cars and stuff, it's awesome. It's crazy. It controls better than Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, I haven't played the PS5 version of Grand Theft Auto 5. But from what I understand, it's not like they did anything to it. So, and this game's fun, dude. Like, I will say this, it gives you a warning whenever you turn it on that it might not run great on PS5. Like, there's some games that just don't run great. And I guess it's the SSD, like how fast it's rendering the videos. Like the cutscenes and videos are kind of choppy. Like they don't play correctly. But this is originally a PS3 game that was then ported to PS4. So, you know, I don't have the highest expectations, but there have been some cutscenes and stuff that I've skipped. So I don't 100% know what's going on with the story. Like I have a general idea, but there's some parts that just haven't ran well. So I've skipped them.
Naughty.
So I'll end up having to go back and do I'll do like a recap video or something on it just to make sure I didn't miss anything story wise. But man, I'm really, really enjoying it. Like it's just fun. It's cool. So, so Sleeping Dogs, a little bit of Resident Evil 4, and I've got Final Fantasy VII Remake queued up. That's one of my pledges. I think I'm going to upgrade to the PS5 version and get the Intergrade DLC and all that stuff. So, I think that's gonna be my next game for sure. And then the only other thing I played, and I've played it with my boys about an hour before the show started, is Alienation. So top down, well, not quite directly top down, but you know, isometric shooter, three player co-op. You know, it's a house mark game. It's really, really good. It's kind of difficult, but you know, that's one of my son's favorite games. One of my oldest son's favorite games, and he's been begging me to play with him. And I was like, you know what, I'll play. Let's go. I didn't really want to play it because I made it all the way to the last level, and then my son, my youngest, messed up my old PS4, and I lost everything. I lost my game save. So that's one of those games that all these years later, I haven't wanted to go back. Like it's painful to make it all the way to the end. And I was being so meticulous with it. Like I was like being so careful. Like I wanted to scour every inch of every map, destroy all the respawn points so you get extra loot. Like I had awesome weapons, all my abilities, and then we died. So, but we started over, you know, and we were having a real good time. And the way I got everything set up is I got my my laptop underneath my my big TV. So we have my laptop plugged into my studio monitors, listening to WrestleMania, and then we had Alienation going through the surround sound system. So it was a lot of noise in here, but it was working. It was good. So just having a good time, man. Just gaming it up, watching wrestling. So it's been we won a soccer game. It's been a good day. It's a good day today for sure.
Well, what should you say we get into our leaderboards?
Let's do it, man. You got them brought up?
I do. So this week, we'll start with our True Trophies leaderboard. In first place is the Loot Bro Zone, Mr. TMNT 84 with 39 trophies. We all know what he's playing as usual.
Wow.
GT7,
that's first place?
Yeah, 39 trophies. I know. This week's a little slump.
Wow, that's crazy.
In second place is the Affectatious Donk with 35 trophies.
Whoa, that's the least CJ's ever gotten.
Yeah, well, he's been playing Ghostwire Tokyo, so I'm guessing there's probably not a lot of trophies that he knows about yet.
Yeah, I want that game. I almost bought it.
It looks good. It looks fantastic.
It looks like different. It looks like something. It's like unlike I don't know of anything else like it. I've been watching like YouTube videos on it. And so I think I'm going to pick it up when I'm done with these pledges.
And then in third place, we got Steigen Wolf with 18 trophies.
There we go.
And for the first time in many moons, we have Mr. Parzival 2528, Levi himself with 15 trophies.
Oh, the GOAT is back.
He's been playing some Terminator Resistance.
That's a good game. From what I hear, I haven't played it, but everyone that I trust their opinion on games says it's really good.
I don't know. I don't really stray too much. I've been playing more games since we've all been hanging out and podcasting together because I'm still trying to beat good old Joe to 100, but I don't know if I don't know if I'm going to. We'll see. And then in fifth place we got Gas Davis 11 with 10 trophies.
There you go, Gas. Get it.
All right.
Sounds like the Xbox crew really showed up this week.
Oh man, it was when I tell you that the gap between first and second is so big. I mean, like the gap between first and second is a 6-digit number. So in first place, we got I'm Styling on You, Bro. Shout out to this man for being the first one on the show to get 6 figures worth of achievement points in a week. This man has gotten 125,865 achievement points.
Good Lord. Good. You know what? Good job. Good job, bro. Good job. Give that man some respect. That is insanity.
I wonder who's gonna. All right. Who's gonna challenge I'm Styling on You, Bro to an achievement off.
He's the king, man. He is the king. We got to see what happens
every week.
Yeah, he gets his own segment of the show. Matter of fact, we need to dedicate our leaderboards are now the I'm Styling on Your leaderboards. So
the Xbox leaderboard.
There you go. The Xbox leaderboard is I'm Styling on Your leaderboard. That is officially he's the GOAT. He made it to 6 figures before anybody else. So CJ still we got the Affectations leaderboard for the PlayStation because he tends to dominate that one.
Well, he's on the Xbox leaderboard this week too, so
yep.
He doubled up. But in second place, we got Sadik with 2,205, which is still nuts for a week.
Yeah, it is.
And then finally, back on the leaderboard after a little hiatus, we got GDI Master Race with 570 achievement points. He's been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
There you go.
And then we got Mr. Sony Pony to you himself with 430 achievement points. He is playing Shadow Warrior 3. So he decided to play it before you did.
Okay. Well, that's all good, man. That's all good. I've got I downloaded Shadow Warrior 2 and started it with the intention of burning through both of them. But life has got in the way. We'll get there though, for sure.
And then in fifth place, a man that hasn't been on the leaderboards in a while because I don't think he ever plays video games anymore, but he's been playing WWE 2K22. I dropped Roaches with 115 achievements.
There you go. Good job. I know he was trying to get himself a Series X.
It says Xbox One right next to it. So
okay. Yeah, he said he was trying to get a Series X, but it's so funny how these PC guys are. He goes all PC, gets him a nice big fat PC, and then here he is back to the console space.
Well, I love playing on my Xbox. I don't know. I can still play with my controller on my PC. Don't get me wrong. And there are certain games that I really enjoy on my PC. Like I can't play the first Witcher or the second Witcher game on my Xbox. There's certain games that I use my PC for. Escape from Tarkov is another one that I really enjoy playing. But yeah, no, I just still always convert back to my console. It's where I play Apex. It's where I play all my games, honestly, because
it's just so comfortable and so easy.
Well, the best thing about it is these games that when they come out for a console, they're optimized for the console. So whereas my PC it's a single fan graphics card in it. So when I play something a little bit more heavy and intensive, like Elden Ring on my PC or like Call of Duty Warzone on my PC, all I hear is my fan going off loud. And I'm like, all right, well, I got to put my headphones on. I can't just play without my headphones and enjoy this game.
Yep.
So the only time I play that is when I'm playing a game that I just want to relax and it doesn't require too much graphic intensity.
I dig it, dude. I get it 100%. So I love the ease of the console. I love sitting back, jumping on getting my controller and just going with it. So definitely can't beat it. All right, let's head over to the backlog beatdown. Now, if you guys have been participating in the backlog beatdown up to this point, we definitely appreciate it. It's been very fun. I've given you guys all the time in the world to dethrone me now. So I just want to put it out there. I'm not going to let you guys have it for too much longer. All right. So I'm going to throw some competition out there. But if you want to participate in the this year's backlog beatdown, all you got to do is beat your games. If a game came out in 2022, it's worth 1 point. If the game came out in 2021 or before, it's worth 2 points. And if you 100% or platinum the game, it is worth an additional point. And all you got to do is take a screenshot of your trophy pop, achievement pop, or the credits of your game's completion. Send it in to the Facebook group or the Discord with the hashtag BLB3. We will log you in our spreadsheet, and our spreadsheet is 28 deep now. So technically 26, I guess, because the first 2 spaces do not count. But here we go. In first place, we have Diego with 39 points. Straight killing it. Straight up killing it. In second place, CJ with 35. Next, we got Gaz Davis with 32. Then we got Residentdarrell with 30. Tied with JT for 30. He's coming for me. We got Redbeard Rick with 28. We got I'm Styling on You Bro with 21. We got Mr. TMNT 84 with 16. We got Alex and the Bearded Nerd with 11. We got James the Nerd and Jared with 10. We got Homer Gets Duffed, Corey and Tricky with 9. We got Noah the Builder with 8. I need to double check. No, is that right? No, maybe. I don't know if I added Horizon Forbidden West. Noah might be at 9, but either way, because he beat that last week. By the way, he beat that on hard. So he didn't even start it on normal. He started on hard. It's a little turd. Next, we got Yield with 6. We got MZ with 5. We got James McCall and the T-Bird with 3. T-Bird beat Elden Ring, and he's on his second playthrough now. Shout out T-Bird. Then we got Jim, John Michael Kalai, Levi, and Spider Pax with 2. And then bringing in the rear, it is my wife. Wow, is Brandy with 2 points. So she's on the leaderboard. So we beat a game together.
So what you guys beat together? Did you beat one of the
one of those full motion video games, the Complex?
Yeah, you're talking about the it was like the I don't now I'm not forgetting the name of it. The one where it was like the island.
Yeah.
Wales Interactive Games. Yep.
Yeah, Bloodshore was the island, which, oh, dang, I didn't even think about putting her name down for that one because we beat that one together. Oh, so she's got 4 points. But she didn't help me platinum that one. She didn't finish that with me, so I'm not giving her that extra point. Oh, wait, it didn't count anyways. It was under 5 hours. So, but yeah, so I'll add that on there. She'll get credit for that one too since we played it together. But dude, it was a lot of fun, man, playing those games. I think it's cool that she likes them and she's into them. So,
man, my wife's catching up to me right now. She's beat. Oh dear Lord, she beat. It Takes Two with me this year.
There you go.
She beat the Skyrim main storyline this year. She's beat.
Oh, we got to put her on the leaderboard.
Okay. Yep. She's beat BioShock 1 and 2. And what did she just?
Dude, your wife might win.
She's been playing some games this year, man. Like, and then right now, we just ordered her Stranded Deep, that like island survival game.
Yeah.
Kind of similar. I would kind of compare it to The Forest if anybody's played The Forest.
Yeah, my boys are into it.
And then she's also got Ark. So I re-upped a GameFly because I don't know why I ever stopped doing that. It's kind of convenient.
Yeah, it is.
But and then she has Ark Survival Evolved on its way, so she's gonna probably play that too. But those aren't games that she can really beat. You know, they're like Minecraft style games. So.
Yep. Yeah, dude, I loved GameFly when I used it. So I would still use it if I didn't buy so many freaking games. Like, well, if I could get away from buying them, then I would totally
well, I don't blame you. You like owning your games. Like, I really wanted Elden Ring, and my wife has this bad habit, and I have the bad habit too. So I buy digital, so I can't have that bad habit. When she's done with the game, she goes and trades it in.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I'm like, if I want the game, I want to keep it so that way I can come back to it in the future if I ever want to come back to it. But I'm starting to collect more physical copies slowly.
Man, you got to, because you never know when that stuff's going to be delisted. Isn't that new Fast and Furious games getting ready to be delisted?
I don't know.
think I read that this week. Yeah, there's those 2 or 3 games that haven't even been out like less than 2 or 3 years, and they're getting delisted. So you just never know. Matter of fact, Sleeping Dogs. I'm not saying it's delisted because I didn't check on the PS4, but I could not get it to come up on the PS5 store because I'm pretty positive I own it digitally, but I could not get it to pop up on the store on PS5, and it might be because it doesn't run well. I don't know. It might be some kind of issue with that, but I own the physical copy of it, so I just put that in. So, but I know for a fact I own it on PS3 with all the DLC and the I was pretty positive I own the PS4 version, but you just never know, man. So I try to get ahead of that stuff if I can.
Well, like the exception for me this year is like I wanted 2K22 physically.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to play it 3 days early, and the only way to do that was digitally.
Yep.
So broke down and I got that one digitally. And then Elden Ring, I was like, well, I don't want to wait for it to come in the mail because I kind of want to start playing it now.
Yep.
So I don't know. I like my instant gratification sometimes, but
I understand, dude. I understand. Yeah. I bought Elden Ring digital so that both my boys got access to it, and I bought Horizon Forbidden West digital so that they both got access to it. So, and I don't like to do it that way, but if it's a game that I know for a fact that I either need to buy multiple copies of, or buy it digital so that everyone gets a chance at it. So, that's what I did with Call of Duty Black Ops or Cold War Black Ops. So, but I didn't do that with Vanguard, and we haven't played Vanguard yet. So, it's kind of like, well, if I would have bought Vanguard digital, we would have all played the game together and had a blast. So,
right.
But either way, all right. So I guess before we get into the community questions, I need to go do the housekeeping because I hadn't done that yet. We've been sitting here just jabbering in them jaws. But thank you guys. This is Loot Bros Podcast. Check out the YouTube. Check out the Discord. Check out the Facebook group. All that stuff. Links to everything is in the show notes each and every week. I've been posting our link tree. All you got to do is click on it. It will take you everywhere. It'll take you to the Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, we've got brand new episodes up, bonus content for everybody. I actually just subscribed to our own Patreon at the Poop Sock, the $1 tier.
I've been subscribed to it for 9 months at this point, I think.
Yeah, and I was looking at it. I just kind of I was kind of curious. I'm like, I mean, it's $1 a month. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
So I subscribed to it, and I was just kind of like wanting to see what does it look like, because I have like the master access to it, and I was like, what does it look like for everybody else? So I subscribed to it or whatever, and I figured what I might do is that there's 1 or 2 people that I might just give the link to occasionally here and there. It's kind of like a nice gesture to get them in the door. Family, not anyway. Yeah, I got family. Just ain't about it. So, but I want to check it out. So, anyway, so I checked it out, and I was like, man, it was cool because it's like 66 pieces of content or something crazy like that pops up, or it gives you the option to, or whatever. So, that's the main show plus all the bonus stuff. But there's bonus episodes up there each and every week. You can get involved on the Patreon for as little as $1. And I'm going to try something new. There's 2 things I'm going to try this month. All right. For one, I put a post in the Patreon for a mailbag. There's already a few questions on there, but if you are a patron or you're considering being a patron, get in there, and there's a post for patrons only for a mailbag. Now, I know we do community questions each and every week. Some weeks it's a ton, some weeks it's not that many. But this was a Patreon specific episode where you can go and you can ask me any kind of question you want. If you have
achievement,
booyah. If you have any kind of feedback, any kind of insight, any kind of comments, concerns, whatever it is, go to the Patreon, get on that feed, and let's have a conversation. So in the middle of April, around the 15th, whatever that weekend is, I will record a very special Patreon episode. Now, I got a couple things I'm going to talk about that, I'm not going to spoil here, but a couple topics that I wanted to bring up, anyways. So it's kind of like I'll tie them together. That'll be a bonus episode for the Patreon that will not replace your Super Loot Bros episode. We also have the deep dive tier. If you get in at the $5 mark, you can get the extra deep dive episodes. We always throw early access to any of the other podcasts that we do, whether that be the Driftcast, 2236, the Comic Cast, anything else. I throw that stuff in there a couple days earlier than we schedule it on the main feeds. And what I'm going to do with the next Ninja Loot song is I'm going to have a special post on there just for patrons so they get access to the music. If you're interested, I know that's not for everybody, but anything I do, I told you guys, anything I do content wise, I will put on Patreon for all of our supporters. So the other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try it out. As I know, I think the last time I looked, about 40% of our listeners on the black feed, because we have the two feeds, the red feed, the black feed, and the red one's obviously botched. I can't see where everyone's listening to that show or how many people listen to it. But on the black feed, about 40% of our listeners are on Spotify, and through Anchor, we can do Spotify only episodes that will allow me to put music and stuff in there. So I'm going to do a video game music bonus episode where I'm going to talk about some of my favorite video game music and actually play the tracks through Spotify and kind of see how it works out. So it might suck. It might not work good. I mean, the option might be total trash. Who knows?
Count me in.
Yeah, so we'll definitely sit down and try and figure that out. And if it works and everything's good, like we might do some Spotify, special episodes here and there, because there is an option to plug music in directly from Spotify, and you don't have to worry about getting any kind of copyright strikes or things like that. So there we go. So we're just going to kind of play around with the options that are there and see what happens. So that is all the housekeeping. That is all the news. Please leave reviews. And if you're listening on Spotify, give us the old 5 stars on their new rating system. So definitely any kind of feedback is appreciated. So, Zach, let's get into the community questions.
Let's do it.
It's not that many, so this will be nice and easy. Matt G writes in and says, are we going to go see Sonic 2? Sonic 2.
No, because I haven't seen the first one.
It wasn't bad. Like, I was impressed. I expected it to suck. I thought it was going to be terrible. But it was actually a cute little film.
So my wife's and my daughter really enjoyed it. They watched it without me. And I think that question came about because this week in the group, I kind of posed a question. I asked everybody what their favorite video game movie was. And I feel like that'd be a good thing to have a couple other people on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next time we can get Joe, maybe Tricky, Lucian would be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime we can get Lucian on. Lucian's my boy.
I would love to have all those guys on. I would love to have like other people on to talk about something like that. But yeah, probably not until I watch the first one. I might make it a thing this week to watch the first one.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to go see it right now. I haven't seen Batman yet, so that's the kind of busy I've been, Zach, that I haven't even gone to see Batman.
I'm disappointed in you.
Dude, it ain't for lack of trying. It's just that, the times that I am available, that I'm not super swamped with crazy things, the theaters aren't playing it. So it ain't like it was pre-COVID where you could go to a freaking 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night movie. So you can't even get food at 10 o'clock anymore. Like, it's insane.
What?
So, especially on the weekends, dude. The other night we were going to get food. It was like 9 o'clock, like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Almost half of all the fast food restaurants around here were closed. It was insane. I'm like, what is going on? So, but anyways, will we go see it? We will eventually. I still owe the kids not Sonic 2, Sing 2. I told them I'd take them to see Sing 2, and I still hadn't done that yet either. So I'm a little behind.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that one. The first
one, I didn't care.
First one was pretty. It was okay. It was I could stomach it, but I don't know. The second one just
I didn't care for it. I really didn't. I think I fell asleep during it. But to be fair, I fell asleep during Encanto.
That's fair. I got tired of hearing about that movie. I'm still tired of hearing about it. My dog, let's watch Encanto. No.
Yeah. Now, I think it's adorable when my kids sing the songs and when my kids singing about how we don't talk about Bruno. But I just...
I don't know if adorable would be the right term.
I mean, I think it's adorable. You know, it's kind of bipolar though. One minute he's screaming for wrestlers to kick each other in the wiener, and the next minute he's singing "We Don't Talk About Bruno." So
we don't talk about Bruno, no.
But yeah, so I owe them Sing 2, but Sing 2 I didn't care for, and I fell asleep during the first one, and then same thing for Encanto. So who knows? I might just need a nap one day and go see it.
I mean,
so. All right, Jared writes in and says, Sony is trying to compete with Game Pass, but with that backlog, should anyone really care?
I mean, I'm not too impressed with Spartacus, honestly. I like the fact that they're changing it to where, so you know, you're going to get the PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now together.
Yes.
Cool. It's going to save you $3 a month if you bought it monthly, because both of them separately are $10. But it's a downside to guys like me, for example, who I don't have PlayStation Now because I don't need it. Because the only time I play PlayStation,
you mean Plus?
Oh yeah, sorry, PlayStation Plus. I don't have PlayStation Plus. I have PlayStation Now because that's the only thing I can use, and I use it on my PC. But now, if I want to utilize that service, I have to pay more money. Month.
that is an interesting way of looking at it. So.
Which is a big downside, because you know that's the only way I play PlayStation games. That's how I was playing Horizon, and now I can't do that, which is very, very unfortunate.
Well, they'll upgrade you until your subscription runs out.
I do mine on a monthly basis, unfortunately.
Oh, got you.
So
yeah, my son and I we bought it a couple years at a time. So we
should have done that.
Yeah, and I pay for PS Now as well. So like for me, like I already have everything. So like when it upgrades me to the next thing, I'm just like, cool. I have PS Now, but I don't ever use it. I have Game Pass, but I don't ever use it. So honestly, no, my backlog is so big and my priorities are all over the place. So should I care about it? No, I really shouldn't. Do I care about it? Yeah, because I think it's cool that they're being competitive. I think it's cool that they're now I know they're being competitive, but they outright said they're not putting their main games on their day one because that doesn't make any business sense. And I agree with that. I think that they will do third-party things. I think that they'll put some of their back catalog on there. But when they said PS1, PS2, and PSP games, I was freaking sold. I don't know if, I don't know. I can't even, I don't even know what that looks like.
Be a lot. I don't feel like it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a real small list.
Dude, still though, that's awesome. I freaking love PSP.
Okay, well, let's be honest though here. Do you have you obviously have a PSP. Do you have?
I have 4.
Right. Do you have the original PS3, the fat body one?
I do.
It's backwards compatible.
I do.
Well, there you go. Then why do you need it?
Why do I need
You know what I'm saying? Why would you? Why do you need it on Spartacus if you have?
Well, the same reason I have Game Pass, but still have a shelf full of Xbox games, and the same reason I have PS Now and I have 9 shelves of PlayStation games. Because I'm an idiot.
I mean, you said it.
But there's PSP games I don't own. You know, like I started getting into collecting PSP games during COVID,
right?
You know, and maybe a little before, but it got really expensive. See, I didn't really get into PSP until I kind of exhausted what I could get with Vita. So now, don't get me wrong, I own a lot of the big titles digitally because they gave them to us for PS Plus so many years ago.
Right.
And I own a bunch of the main titles, but I'm thinking, this is wishful thinking, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm thinking they're going to put the Siphon Filter games on there. I would much rather play the Siphon Filter games on my console with a controller than the PSP. Okay,
right. But the way I also look at it too is just your shit is there's still going to be a lot of, hey, how do we make thumbsticks compatible, for example? Movement.
It's going to be
different.
janky.
It's going to be, exactly. It's going to be weird. But I get where you're coming from. But the game was intended to be played a certain way. I had trying to take away from it's probably not the best thing sometimes.
I mean, we'll see. Yeah, the thing is, I'm going to play them regardless. So even if I only play them a little bit, it's going to happen. I'm super stoked. So I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like. But again, PS1 games and so the rumor mill is obviously going. It's going nuts. So what I keep seeing is that like trademarks and stuff popping up, and people thinking that the like Dino Crisis is going to be playable on there. Obviously, some of the Final Fantasy games, things like that. But the OG Resident Evil games, like there's been a lot of traffic in the Resident Evil channels about the OG Resident Evil collection being playable. And that would be friggin' amazing.
Oh God. Guess what?
Don't tell me because it hasn't happened yet.
Look. I'm
looking.
It has happened.
I'm looking, but I haven't seen who it is yet.
Oh.
Is it the American Nightmare?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Cody Rhodes is back to WWE,
Cody
baby.
Rhodes. That was the rumor. But that's awesome. That's all. Yeah, his entrance is happening, but he hasn't come through the curtain for me yet.
Oh. He just came through the curtain.
Oh, he's coming through the floor. Oh. Is his wife going to walk him down the aisle? So that would be huge, like to have them both back. So this is amazing. That's awesome. That's right. Live on the Loot Bros podcast, even though you're not going to hear this till Monday morning, the freaking American Nightmare is coming to fight Seth freaking Rollins. So that's awesome. I'm so glad that he came back to like, if he's not a top guy, I'm going to be so freaking pissed.
Well, the biggest problem with they Tony Khan played it, and he played it really, really well. He helped start the company.
Yes,
he was a big player in AEW.
Yep.
So it only made sense that Chris Jericho beat him, and he couldn't win the title anymore. Yep. But at the same time, he's still in a really good spot in his career, and he needs that. He needs that kind of recognition. He needs to have more than just the TNT title to go for. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And here he universal title. Well, we'll see if it's actually like unified or not.
Well,
I feel like that's going to be a weird one because I know their roster has been cut down quite a bit, but I don't know. Yeah,
it's weird. So I don't know. But yeah, that's awesome. Freaking so stoked. So glad Cody Rhodes is back. I hope he's going to be a top guy. There's two reasons why I subscribed to Peacock to watch WrestleMania this particular time. Because Stone Cold's returning and Cody Rhodes was the rumor he was coming back. So that's right. I got Peacock Premium just for you, Cody. So, all right. Jared writes in with another one and says, what bothers you the most about gaming right now? And would a pimp smack from Will Smith fix that problem? What bothers you? That slap was awesome. Even though it was awful that he did it.
I love the memes that the memes that just followed it, and from everyone too. It wasn't like that. Like we even had a local business like do a meme based on it. And I'm just like, I cannot.
Yes, yeah, the memes were great. But every now and again, the internet is a good place. So, what bothers you the most about gaming right now?
Honestly, I'm actually in a pretty good spot. I can't complain too much. Most of the games, so my biggest complaint a couple of months ago would have been we were getting games that weren't finished.
Yes.
And
Halo.
there was a lot there. Well, yeah, that's that. And for me, that it hurts because everybody knows I'm a big Halo fan. That really hurt my soul.
Yeah,
and I'm mad it's still not finished. I'm glad that we got told they're teasing a battle royale, which is but they should have worked on that before they even released the game.
Well, they said that they weren't going to put a battle royale in it. The only BR in Halo was going to be battle rifles.
Well, that's unfortunately not true anymore because they need to conform. Like they had, and they have the best platform for it. I was discussing it with somebody the other day. Just the things that 343 has done over the past the past couple of years with Halo 4 and Halo 5. They have the best platform, and they added battle royale elements into their games before battle royales are really prominent. Before Fortnite became a big thing. But we've been getting complete games lately. I'd have to say my biggest gripe is honestly they need to stop coming out with so many good games like so close together.
Thanks,
my wallet can't handle it.
My wallet's been getting wrecked.
Like I want to play Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Like it looks really good. I just relaunched Elden Ring because I'm seriously missing it right now. Let's see, 2K22, freaking.
It's so many games, dude.
Oh my God.
But you know, we knew this was going to happen. This year's going to be loaded because all the games got pushed because of COVID and having to develop from home.
We finally got a release date for Hogwarts Legacy, and as soon as I saw that, I went on my GameFly and I game locked it. So as soon as it releases, it'll be at my house.
Dude, that's amazing.
That was I think that's one of the best things that they introduced is so as long as you put a game in your queue 6 weeks or more before the game's release date, you can click on Game Lock and it will lock it. So that way the day it releases, it will be at your house.
There you go. That's dope. That's freaking dope. Yeah, like I said, I used to really enjoy using GameFly. Like, that's a good service. I'm glad they still exist. So,
well, their sales still get ridiculous too.
Yeah, they do. I buy stuff from there all the time. And Cody's freaking showing off, man. He's killing it.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I would say what bothers me the most about games right now is on top of, you know, like you said, games not being finished, because that just seems to be like such a big deal. But just the always online, like GTA 7 or GT7, what we've been talking about, like this always online, like you can't play the game if you don't have an internet connection. Like that is the stupidest thing. Like,
yeah,
it's so frustrating because that means your game has an expiration date.
Right. So
I think that I think that, and I've been kind of like working my opinion on it. Right, a $70 game riddled with microtransactions should probably be free to play. You know, I've been kind of trying to wrap my head around, like, I don't have any issue with people like filling games up with microtransactions, cosmetics, things you can buy if you want to spend money. You know, because if you don't want to spend money and you don't want to do it, then freaking don't do it. You know, I feel like if you're grown, you should be making good decisions. But like, you know, introducing microtransactions after your game gets reviewed, and then, you know, structuring your game around this pay to win mentality, I'm against it. I'm very against it. And I'm also against, if you're going to charge $70 for a game, it shouldn't be always online. It should be playable offline and last forever. You know, if your game is always online, it should be free to play. And I don't know logistically if that's like, if that makes sense. But like, you know, can you imagine GTA 7 always online, right? If they were just like, oh, it's a free to play game, you can jump in and you can grind your balls off as long as these servers are live, and then you can buy cars and microtransaction it to death. You imagine how much goodwill Sony would have for a game like that. It's like, it's always online and riddled with microtransactions, but you didn't have to pay for it. Just like Fortnite. Fortnite has some of the most unrealistic, or at least used to, had some of the most unrealistic prices for skins and cosmetics. But you know what? The game's free to play and people get hundreds of hours out of it. And it's just like, no one cares. It's like, okay, cool. I buy skins and I play my game. You know, I buy cars and I play my game. So I don't know. What's bothering me about gaming right now is just that it's stupid, and it doesn't have to be. You know, it's crap like that. Always online, you know, like pay to win. Like that stuff just frustrates me. Would a pimp smack fix it? Absolutely. Jared, hear me out, right? All right. So, you know, the GTA crew or excuse me, GT. I keep calling it GTA. The GT crew are sitting in their pitch with Sony, right? They're sitting in front of worldwide franchise Jimmy Ryan, okay? And they're like, oh, sir, here's the idea, right? We're going to make Gran Turismo 7 always online, okay? And we're going to make it full of microtransactions, and we're going to make so much money. And then franchise Jimmy Ryan walks up and smacks him in the mouth and says, you know, hey, we'll make it a playable offline. Keep the players happy. You imagine what a little smack in the mouth would go for a dumb pitch like that?
Right.
It would have fixed everything. If the franchise worldwide Jimmy Ryan would have laid a little smackdown, you wouldn't have had this. You wouldn't have, Sony wouldn't be garnering bad will. You know? So it's frustrating. Could have been fixed with a slap. So. Anything else?
No. You kind of hit the nail on the head, because I didn't really think about that, because I haven't really played any games other than like I said, Apex, which is a multiplayer game that's really online only, you know. But like, see, I'm happy because like Elden Ring is like different than a Souls game, than any other Souls game we've ever had. You know, the online multiplayer aspect in and of itself is amazing.
I hear it actually works, and it's not ridiculously.
It does. It's not. They have been teasing this game for so long, and they gave us a completed game, which is why I'm happy. And then they recently released an update for it, and it literally just gave you free content. They literally like, oh yeah, here's extra storyline missions, and you know, here's some balancing changes to certain weapons, bug fixes, and they're like, there wasn't a lot, but they also gave like a whole new quest line. Like there's like DLC, like hours of content, and they pretty much released a DLC for the game. Where it's like, here's some extra content, you can have it. It was just waiting around. It's
amazing what Goodwill will do, you know, like right. just like it's stuff like that. It's like, you know what? I'm glad I spent my money with them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's what's so frustrating about gaming right now is it just seems like we are just primed to be taken advantage of as gamers, you know? And it's like, we'll get a dozen amazing games, and then we'll get a couple stinkers that just really sour the opinion of the market, you know? Right. Like you got Horizon that came out, you got Elden Ring that came out. Amazing games with great reviews, and they're full, complete games filled with hours and hours and hours of content. But then you got GT7, you know? Yeah,
like there's somebody that posted in the Trophy Horse group, like today, I think, took them 220 hours, but they got they have the plat and Elden Ring.
That's insane.
But 220 hours of content.
Yep.
To get a platinum, like there ain't a lot of games doing that. Like the closest that I know of right now is like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think like to completely complete everything, not including the new DLC that came out, was like 135 hours on average.
Yeah, well, I'll have CJ on at the end of the month, and so he'll definitely have some insight on some Valhalla, because he's definitely the master of the Assassin's Creed for sure. So. But you see what I'm saying though? Like Assassin's Creed is doing a good job, but like they've changed their structure up because, you know, like they've made changes that are more friendly for their player base, you know, and more friendly for their developers. So like that's a good change. And like, I don't know, it's weird how the bad ones stick out, you know, like I hate to crap on Halo so much, but like I've been really like bothered by 343. Like I feel like the amount of love that I had for Halo for so many years, I just feel like since 343 has taken over, they've just botched everything.
Well, the worst part of it is a lot of the lead guys in the company are guys that were with Bungie. They were Bungie guys, so they know how the game should work. They know what works, and they know what doesn't work. But now they're, you know, they wanted to branch out and try new things. Cool, I get it. Yeah, it's understandable. You know, if you keep giving us the same thing repetitively over and over again, it is going to get boring and monotonous. But at the same time, you gotta give us something that we actually enjoy. You gotta give us, especially a complete game. Like this feels very cyberpunk-ish.
Yeah.
Where it just feels like something's missing. Like the campaign was fantastic. The multiplayer, haven't gotten a new map since the game came out.
Well, that's the thing is like by this point in time in the other Halo life cycles, they had multiple map packs out.
Yeah, exactly. That's and that's the worst part. Is that's the like I don't enjoy playing Halo constantly because when I get on and play multiplayer, I play the same 3 maps over and over again.
Yeah. Well, it's like when it first released, it was like you didn't even have playlists. You had to play 1 map per mode. It just, I don't know. It's just, to me, and again, I could be wrong. I'm totally open to the idea that I'm not correct. But Halo used to be the king of the mountain. Like when I thought about Halo, I've always, in my mind, Halo is one of the best game franchises that has ever existed. That's always been my opinion of Halo. But it's like with this game in particular, like it just seems like they're it not being finished, things not being right. It just seems like amateur hour over there.
Yeah, and that's the worst part is like I said, these guys know what they're doing. Even ODST, which everybody has labeled as like one of the worst Halo games that Bungie ever released, was still good.
Yeah,
the story was still good. Like when people are saying, "Hey, this is bad, but this is still good." Yeah. And these games that people are just like, "Oh, well, this is just bad."
It's just frustrating, man. It shouldn't be that way. And again, like I don't know, like I don't know. I try not to crap on Xbox too much because I make my comments in the group, and I like to rile up the Xbox fans and have fun. But like I genuinely am so frustrated with 343, and it's like I started the campaign and I enjoyed what I played of it, but I was like, you know what? This would be an experience that I would love to play with my son.
Right.
But then here it is. I still can't do co-op campaign. Like what? Halo is co-op. Like that was a big deal when Halo 4 or 5 when it came out. Like they tried this trash then and people were mad. It was like co-op campaign. Come on, get it together. We've been playing co-op Halo since day one.
Yeah, and that's even worse because like I have like one of my best friends who loves the series as well. He's like, I'm not going to play it until the campaign's co-op, so I can play it with you. And I was like, well, as much as I appreciate that, like the campaign's still good. I really think you should still play it, but I get it at the same time.
Yeah. Well, because
that's what you're used to, and it's that nostalgia feeling for me.
Yeah. I played all of them co-op. I played Halo 1, 2, and 3 co-op with my brother. I played Halo. I played ODST by myself. That was the only one. I played Halo Reach with Tanner and Frosty, the old host of the show. Like we had so much fun with those games. I played Halo 5 Guardians with my brother and one of his best friends, and I think maybe Tanner, I'm not sure. But like we burnt through the whole campaign in one night, one sitting. It was awesome. Like that's just, to me, Halo and co-op campaign, so like I started this one, played the first mission or so, and then I was like, cool, this is good. I'll wait for the rest of it. And I'm still waiting. And I'm freaking getting aggravated now because my son and I could have already played this game together.
Yeah, I would love to have that's something I would love to play with you guys.
Yes, it would be a blast. And we'll have fun. We will eventually. And that's what's annoying about it, because it's like, Halo's been out forever. People are going to be sick of Halo by the time I actually start playing it, which is fine. But I don't know. I'm just hoping that when Forge is released in like the next month or so, that it's going to bring some fresh new life to the game. Because that's, that's a really big staple. Like since it came out, and them not having it is just something's wrong with that. But think about this. When Forge came out with the old Halos, right? Like people were recreating Gears of War maps in Forge. Like we played so many maps in Forge. It was so much fun. You set your custom playlist, you go download a cool map, and then you build your own. And you just have a good time. Like, I don't know. It's frustrating, and I know I've been ranting about it for a few minutes now, but That's the kind of stuff that makes me mad about games, where it's like you have a legacy franchise like that is just not coming out complete. Like it just, I don't know. And I don't know. To think that a year prior than this game actually released, they were talking about, oh, we're gonna release it. Like, had it not been for Backlash, we might have gotten an even more incomplete broken game.
And I would have been so upset as like a diehard Halo fan.
Isn't that insane to think that was that could have been the case?
Yeah, and to think too, like, because like that's just something that like would turn me off to the series. Honestly, it right now, like me not playing that game, like I know there's a bunch of people, like my wife is just shocked. She's like, "Why are you playing Apex again?" I'm just like, I mean, Halo is fun and all, but you know, I'd still rather play Guardians multiplayer than I would Halo Infinite multiplayer.
Which is sad because when Halo Infinite multiplayer came out, it was hot. Everybody was like, "Yes, it's back to form," and then it's dead. Like that, to me, outside listening, like looking in, that's so frustrating because I'm not playing it either. So I mean, but I've decided that this is the hill I'm dying on. I'll play that campaign when the co-op is finally released. But then they just push it again. Didn't they just say that like co-op campaigns you push even farther out? So
don't remember.
It's just frustrating for me. I'm like, what are they doing over there? How is the king of the mountain? How is this studio that has been entrusted with Halo doing worse and worse with it each iteration? You know, like at least the worst managing it. I'm not saying they're making a poor game because from what I played, it plays great and it looks good.
Yeah, the game looks fantastic. Like the game is absolutely like beautiful, but the lack of content is just not where it's at the moment in time. Like I said, that like December to the end of January, I just felt like we got a lot of incomplete games because the holiday season. Everybody was like, "Yeah, let's get it out for the holidays so we can make money." Yeah, and now it's coming back to bite them in the butt.
And I get the fact that COVID and people working from home is the thing. And I mean, I'm not trying to say that, you know, it's a perfect situation and they weren't trying to overcome things. So I'm griping, but I understand that things, you know, haven't been ideal.
Right.
But I just, I don't know. When the question is asked, these are the things that frustrate me. This is what I think about. This is where my head is at. So I guess we can get off that soapbox if you want. So. As getting kind of back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, with you know some upcoming wrestling games. Obviously, you've been playing 2K22. We're both watching an absolutely phenomenal wrestling match right now. Like, yes, I want the listeners to know that this is so difficult not to scream and lose my mind watching Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins tear the house down at WrestleMania. Like
that cutter was beautiful.
It was so good. It's so good. This match is if you're a wrestling fan and maybe you haven't been watching or you're not watching Mania, you owe it to yourself to watch this match because Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins are doing some wild stuff. Like dangerous stuff.
He has come such a long way.
Yes.
From like just Randy Orton being Randy Orton's like lackey. Like, yes. He has come such a long way. It's ridiculous.
Yes,
like in both of them too, because like both of them were at a point in their careers. Like Seth Rollins was Triple H's lackey, and you know Cody Rhodes was under Randy Orton, two of the greatest men to ever step foot in a squared circle. And you know, I felt like back when Cody Rhodes was earlier in his career, he just lacked something, and since he's, I don't know, he finally hit this stride in his career, and he looks phenomenal.
It's on fire, dude. I mean, like this match is on fire, and it just like I'm gonna quote my oldest son when we went and saw AEW this week. My son, we left the arena, and he was like, "Dad, I just want to go home and play wrestling games now." Like it's just so fun to get in there and slam people and put them through tables and do crazy stuff in the games. And watching matches like this make me want to fire up, you know, WWE right now, and just download Cody Rhodes from the Creator Wrestler and just freaking go with it. Oh, he just Will Smith slapped him.
I mean, you could get 2K22. It's a good time, and then we could when we're doing the show, we could do like a My Universe thing with me, you, and Joe. Because I already have a show set up. I want to start doing a show weekly during my streams.
That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. So you've been playing 2K22. Do you have any opinions of it you want to share on the show? I mean,
the game is great. There's so much content in it. Them bringing back my GM mode was the greatest idea because, for like now, right now would be the perfect time for me to play my GM. We're sitting here, we're talking. I don't have to pay super much attention to it. I can pay attention to that. I can pay attention to WrestleMania. And you can play against a computer, or you can play online against another GM.
Dude, that's so awesome.
And you can change difficulty levels on the computers. My Universe has a sandbox mode now, and a traditional mode, so you can play two different types of universes. There are weekly matches in the online section that you can play. You can play different shows with other people. You can get to different universes with other people. The My Rise is amazing because you start your career in NXT, and then you can play different storylines, and you get to decide like what brand you sign with. I signed with Raw first, and the WWE Championship's on Raw, and I already picked it up, but I picked it up against Seth Rollins, for example. My guy Seth Rollins had it, but he also had his disciples, and the way they did that storyline with his disciples was fantastic. And then you also have just your general play, and then the showcase mode this year was fantastic. The way they did Rey Mysterio's career and some of his like biggest matches was amazing. I like the control change ups that they did, because the controls are different than they have been in past years, and I like the way they did it this year. So it used to be the only thing you could do when you got grappled was you could do a reversal when they went to do the move. Well, now if it's kind of a guessing game, it's kind of a get lucky or kind of try to predict what they're going to do. But if you're in a grapple, you have three options. You have X, A, or B. Well, for me, and if you match what the other person hits, then you automatically reverse that move. And you hit them with an equivalent.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
They just did so many things right this year, and so I'm super glad that they skipped last year. They didn't release the game, and they got a little bit extra time. The graphics look better than they have ever. Like this year, the game it's polished. I don't have any complaints about the game.
That's awesome, dude. That makes me want to just buy it right now, which I keep saying that on the show.
Do it.
I can't play. I really got to work through this other stuff, man.
I want to hear the cha-ching.
Cha-ching. So, absolute instant classic, man. That match we just watched, dude, it makes me want to freaking buy the game right now and recreate that. That was so good, man. And I love hearing that, dude. So you have been telling me good things about it. Joe's been telling me good things about it. Like I've got a handful of other, coworkers and stuff. They're just like, man, this thing, it's good. And that's good. And you know what? Like I'm excited about it. I will own it eventually, maybe sooner rather than later. But I'm so stoked about this AEW game coming out. Like,
I don't think we're gonna get it this year. I think we're gonna get it early next year.
Yeah, I figured it would be till next year.
They were teasing the end of this year for a while, kind of like saying, "Hey, this is where we're at," and but I still feel like they're in a stage where they're trying to polish everything and get it perfect. So I feel like it's gonna be if we don't get it holiday this year, it's gonna be early next year. So we'll have something to look forward to at the beginning of next year.
Yeah, because they did IGN released their teaser over a year ago. So
yeah,
I would imagine it's going to be next year.
Well, I want to say it was like it's been 2 months now, but we got Darby Allin gameplay, which was fantastic. Like everything looks great. I'm glad that Ukes is getting a chance to branch out from the WWE universe and kind of getting a chance to have a little bit of creative freedom with an AEW game.
Yes. Yeah, dude, I can't wait. I hope it's just more. So the things I keep hearing about it from people is that it's going to be like similar to the old style arcade games. And, like some of these guys are big No Mercy and, WrestleMania 2000 fans. And
Right.
so I just want a easy playing old style wrestling game like that, like something fun.
Well, like the TNA game was like the best example of that. They did a really good job with the story, and it wasn't much outside of that. It was you can play wrestling matches, or you can play the story. Now
Dude,
I don't want to kind of buy that game again.
That game was awesome.
I debated it, and then the best thing was when they took Suicide, which was the main character in the storyline, and they made him real.
Yes.
Like that was like as soon as like the entrance came out the first time, I was like, there ain't no way. And then he actually came out, and because there's two gentlemen that have ever donned it. They did a fantastic job. They're fantastic wrestlers.
Yes, dude. It was so good. That campaign was awesome, man. And like just the physics of that game, because it used the Unreal Engine, it was so fun. Like that game was so. Now don't get me wrong, it kind of controlled difficult, like a little bit like Booty, but it was such a good game. So there's a Lucha Libre wrestling game that's kind of similar to it, like it was not as good though. Not as good.
I think we talked about that game before, because when we were talking about really looking forward to this to 2K22.
Yes. Yeah, dude. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I gotta finish these pledges and then we'll do it. So, but if anybody listening in wants to pledge me to 2K22, it might get expedited up my list.
I mean, and then also I forgot a mode. I haven't played it that much because it's you're familiar with like the Supercard game they have?
I am, and I've actually game? It's funny. I actually I was looking at it today. I've never played it, but I'm familiar with like the concept of it. But I know if you buy the game, you get like what, Rey Mysterio for Supercard and all that stuff.
I don't remember, but they have it. They have a mode similar to it in 2K22. It's called My Faction.
Yeah.
But you only unlock characters you only get characters that you unlock. So when you play matches, you only get characters you unlock, and you want to make sure that because there are some things where it'll simulate it based on their stats, kind of like Supercard, and it is like a Supercard system too. So it's kind of neat.
All right, everybody, this is where I want to come in and kind of patch in my impressions of WWE 2K22. For several weeks now, I've been talking about picking this game up, and I have not done it until the show was over this week. I decided, I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. I got to have it. And after spending a few hours with it, I got to say it is freaking fantastic. So I'm going to do like a brief, review type thing, kind of give you guys like I said, my impressions of it for now, without doing like the campaign mode or any kind of like of the story. I haven't tried the GM mode yet, just the actual mechanics and presentation of the game. So I'm a little bit hoarse. I've spent the past 4 hours, 3 hours playing WWE 2K22 with the kids, and we've been screaming at the TV and yelling and having an absolute blast. So it is, it definitely has right off the bat when I'm looking for out of a WWE 2K game with wrestling game. It's all about fun. It's all about gameplay, right? The gameplay has to be good. If the gameplay is not good, I mean, that's what you're there for, Like, sure, the roster is important, and the options that you have, with the different matches and stuff like that. But if the gameplay isn't good, sorry, I moved my mic. Then the actual, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it has if it doesn't have good gameplay. So, with that being said, the actual moment-to-moment gameplay is stellar. It is substantially faster than the gameplay from 2K22. Now I'm gonna kind of talk about 2K22 for a minute. It had a really cool campaign, but the game was just broken, and the game was broken like frustratingly broken even now. So like, I'll give you an example. My kids and I have been playing after WrestleMania night 1. I'm recording this in between night 1 and night 2. Okay, so after WrestleMania night 1, the kids and I were like, we have got to just play some wrestling. Let's just go have a blast, play some wrestling. And so we did. But the problem is, even after 2 years and patches, 2K20 is so broken that sometimes you can't even completely function in the matches. So things get stuck in the geometry. At one point in time, just this morning, Paxton, Spider Pax, we all fell through the cage together, and then he, about 30 seconds to a minute later, just randomly teleported from the ground back to the top of the cage. Like he was just kind of working through his stun phase where he was trying to get back up and couldn't get back into the ring, or couldn't get into the match because it teleported him to the top. And then outside of that, we would get the ladder stuck in the ring. We would get the ladder stuck in each other. I mean, it was kind of weird. All kinds of random things like that. We were having real issues trying to get in and out of the cage so that we could, jump on top of it. That's kind of one of our rules in our family is we don't just go and play the match to win, right? We got set stipulations. So, for example, for a cage match or Hell in a Cell, you have to go to the top and then you have to knock characters through all 4 sections of the ring that can be broken. And then you can go, you can actually win the match. If there's announce tables, we have to go through the announce tables, so on and so forth. Same thing for TLC. If the arena will have announce tables, you got to go through them. Now, I tend to set even further stipulations up for myself where it's like, oh, I'm not even going to try to beat my kids until I put them through a table, And Noah, he's kind of in on the gag, he's kind of in on the joke, to like let the other two fight really hard to progress and win the match. But we're actually not going to win until we can do our little side objectives. And even then, like this morning, I threw multiple matches, but it was so much fun. And so 2K22, the gameplay is slow too. Like it should be more responsive. It should be faster. It should be a little more arcadey. And the problem I've had with the 2K series is they keep going for these simulation style, like the simulation style wrestling. And it's like adding all these stamina menus and all of these, and like even the weight detection, stuff like that. Like, sure, some of that's okay every now and again. But at the end of the day, you kind of just want to play wrestling. You kind of just want to get in there and friggin' pick people up and slam them through stuff. And for us especially, we want to do the elimination chambers, the Hell in a Cells, TLCs, Falls Count Anywhere. We want to go backstage, slam each other through some vending machines. I mean, that kind of stuff. So as far as 2K20 goes, it was a serviceable campaign and career mode. You had 2 different NXT superstars, a male and a female, that you had to kind of work your way through the roster and a cool little story around it. And then, but the actual gameplay itself and just the matchmaking was frustrating. It was very frustrating. And even though after the patches, it got better, it was never one of the games that the kids and I just spent a ton of time playing. It just wasn't that good. So, as a matter of fact, we played 2K19, and even now, I'll still go back and play 2011 because I still believe 2007, 2011 are the best wrestling games that have been made since the Xbox 360 generation. Like, hands down, that is just, they were stellar. So, I'm always comparing the new games to those. I need the new games to be able to do what they're supposed to do and still, have some semblance of those old games, those old modes, being able to knock each other off the cage, things like that. That's what's fun to me. So, with that being said, 2K22 does a lot of that. It brings back the opportunity to fall off the cage without having to go through an actual animation. So there was a couple times where, a character got bumped into or, punched or whatever and fell off the side of the cell. Like, that is a huge deal to me as someone who's been playing these games for so long. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Give me more of that. Make it fun. Add the silly stuff. So the gameplay speed is really good. Like, it feels fast and fluid, responsive. There's tons and tons of animations, but the actual physics of the game feel really, really good. And I'll give you an example. I downloaded, and I'll get into community creations in a little bit, but I downloaded a Chris Redfield superstar. So somebody had made him in the game. Looks very good. And because he's a boulder punching, monster of a man in the series, they gave him a lot of punches, haymakers, and things like that as his moves and his finishing moves. And there was one point in time where my son, he was being a Dead by Daylight character called Legion. And I randomly punched him in the side of the head and his body went limp and he just hit the ground. And it was awesome. It made us laugh. It was really cool to watch. Like, it was fun, super responsive, and it's just good. It's just good. Now, there's still a little bit of jank in here when it comes to the gameplay. Like, you can't just grab a weapon and slide into the ring like you could in 2011. You can't just grab a ladder and lean it up against the ropes and run and dive off of it like you could in 2011. Like, there's a lot of things like the fluidity and the way that the objects interacted with each other that it's not quite as smooth as I wish, but it is a crazy improvement on 2K20. Yeah, 2K20. So definitely worth waiting and getting the game. Joe and Zach were right. It is really, really good. So as far as the different match types goes, we've played, we did a Royal Rumble. That was fun. We've done the ladder match. We've done the TLC, Hell in a Cell, things like that. Now, granted, we pretty much played those, specifically, like, over and over and over again. So, like, there is plenty more we have to see in this game. But another thing we did was we spent a good amount of time in the community creations. And the community creations is a huge part of the wrestling, franchises as well. Something that you always do, or at least we always did in a wrestling game, is we would create our personal characters, say ourselves. And as far as I can remember, back from the early wrestling games that allowed you to do character creations, or even like WCW, WCW 2000? Which one was it? No, it was WrestleMania 2000, and it was WCW versus NWO versus the World, and then I can't remember the next one that came after that. But either way, like, you could make characters, you can make them like wear the NWO shirts. You could put them in a faction. You give them NWO black and white, NWO red and black, things like that. And it was really cool to have those options of character creation. And then getting into like the No Mercies and things like that, the character creations got really, really good. And so for me, my experience has always been get into the game, spend the first hour or so just with community character creations. And then as the games evolved and the online capabilities became a thing, then they would add the community creations where the community could upload the things that they created, and they're awesome. From there, now there's people are taking like photos of people, actors, movie stars, whatever, and they're grafting them to these characters. So you can get some of these characters to look exactly like they do in the franchise they come from, their respective franchise. So it's very cool. And the creative nature, how people go in there and these paint tools, and they'll paint in the patterns for the clothing and things like that. Like, it's really cool. And so the character creation is something that we dig into. Now, in the past few entries, it's been very frustrating because they're like, oh, here's character creations, but you can only get 20 in a 24-hour period. And my kids and I will sit there and we'll burn out 20 downloads in no time. So it's like, okay, now we can't come back. There's a timer on screen that says you can't come back till tomorrow to get, another 20 characters. And so a lot of times we get 20, play for a couple hours, come back a week later, get 20, play for a couple hours. But it's frustrating. I kind of want to be able to download whatever I see, whatever I want. And when you get down to the last one or two or three, you're like, man, I don't want to stop. Maybe there's like 4 or 5 characters on the screen that I want to get because there's thousands of characters you can download. So, that's gone in this one. 2K22, you can download whatever you want. Money in the Bank skins, arenas, characters. Like right now, just the screen that I'm on. This is screen 14 out of 12,754. You've got AEW stars, you got rap artists, you got Doink the Clown, you got Harley Quinn, you got Winnie the Pooh, you got Harambe's on here, Leatherface is on here. I mean, just crazy. And these things look amazing. I downloaded Marvel characters earlier, DC characters, Resident Evil characters, Dead by Daylight characters, other wrestlers. You know, they might be your favorite wrestler. Let's say your favorite wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Well, it might be the ring attire he wore or the shirt he wore and trunks he wore for this specific pay-per-view that's not actually in the game. People will go and create it. And it's very, very cool. So one of the biggest upgrades I think they gave us in this iteration is unlimited downloads. We've downloaded, I think, 60 pieces of content already today. I'm downloading wrestlers now as we're talking, as I'm sitting here right now, giving my impressions of this game. So, and then what's really cool is the creative belts. Like we downloaded some of the most obnoxious belts earlier. So we downloaded the TikTok Championship, and it is a championship belt with the TikTok logos dressed all over it, and it looks like it's professionally done. It looks amazing. Whoever did it a fantastic job. So we got the TikTok Championship. We downloaded the Taco Bell Championship, the PlayStation and Xbox Championship. We downloaded the Hello Kitty Women's Championship, and then had a match with Jill Valentine, She-Hulk, Black Cat, and Wonder Woman for the Hello Kitty Championship in a fatal 4-way TLC match. And then Wonder Woman is the Hello Kitty champion. Like, it's phenomenal. Like, it's so cool. Like, this is obnoxiously cool stuff that you can do. And I'm super, super excited about it. So, I just kind of want to come in here because we didn't necessarily have this week's official topic. We didn't have a twat for the week this week because we're sitting there, we're watching WrestleMania. We're kind of talking about wrestling games. Kalai bailed. So we're like, oh, we can comfortably talk about, wrestling without someone being, whatever about it. Joe bailed to watch WrestleMania. And so we're checking it out and we're talking. And it's like, man, I kind of wanted to talk about wrestling. But what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to come on here and rehash the same conversations we've had about our favorite wrestling games from back in the day and all that stuff. Like, you guys have heard me talk about that before, and so I try to come up with new things, something different, give you something worth listening to that's not the same, rehashed trash every single week. And so I sat back and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? After watching Mania, by the way, from the time we recorded, we were under the impression that Stone Cold Steve Austin was only coming back for a segment, that he wasn't coming back for an actual match. Now, Stone Cold Steve Austin has not wrestled in 19 years. 19 years, okay? I have been waiting, and with all these OGs coming back and having these big matches and all this money that there is to be made, it's like, why hasn't Stone Cold come back? Until last night, he did it. He came back for a match. He had a full-blown Falls Count Anywhere match with Kevin Owens, and it was awesome. 57 years old, and he can still go. Like, it wasn't one of those cringy matches either where it's like, oh, they botched a bunch of stuff. Like, no. It was the greatest hits of all of his moves. KO got some good licks in and did some stuff, suplexed him on the concrete in the arena. Like, it was awesome. They went all over the place, gave the people a show worthy of main eventing WrestleMania. It was freaking phenomenal. So when we first recorded this show, it was like, okay, we might have already seen the best match of the night, the American Nightmare versus Seth Rollins. And then it's like, here we go. Stone Cold comes out, does a segment, and then does a match and ended the night. So it was absolutely phenomenal. So it was like riding that high, having a good podcast, talking with Zach, and then this game, I had to get it, had to go ahead and do it. And so now here I am going like, I got to give you guys my impressions because I'm hot on this game. Like, this is awesome. Now, some of you guys listen to the show and you're like, oh, I'm not really a wrestling person. I'm not really into the WWE. It's a great, fun game to play, even if you're not, I would recommend it to people who like fighting games. I would recommend it to people who like MMA games. And if you just want some absurd 4-player party game, which in the menus, it gives the option to be 6 players. Now, I don't know if the PS5 can hold 6 players. I know that the Xbox One would do 6 controllers. So I'm not sure if that's something that's supported. I haven't tested it out yet. I will try to do that, but just wanted to come in here and give my initial impressions. I haven't tried every mode yet, and I feel like I'm getting a little hoarse, but I just had to come in here and let you guys know that it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm super impressed with it initially. So definitely going to spend some time in it. Going to do the career modes. Going to do the GM modes. And I'm obviously going to kick my kids' behinds in this thing for months and months and months to come. So, and who knows, this we might not get a 2K23 this year. They might push it back, and until they might do every other year. I don't know, but I do know that Josh, listen at me. Zach and I were talking about the AEW game coming up soon. So that's going to be another big deal because that one's supposed to be more arcade focused. So I'm really hoping that we get some of these just awesome, fun, arcadey wrestling games and, things that we can do with the community, things we can do, couch co-op, stuff that's just fun to play. Stuff that's not broken and janky. Because, we talked a lot about broken games on this episode. So anyways, definitely want to come in here. I could sit here and keep running my mouth, but I've kind of exhausted what I've actually been able to do in the game. So graphics are great, gameplay is great, soundtrack is really good. There's one more thing I thought was pretty interesting. One of the things I didn't like about professional wrestling was that when they didn't have anyone in the arena, when there's no one in the arena, the not having the crowd to feed off of makes everything feel empty and sterile and weird. Even MMA, like watching UFC fights and stuff, like it's just not. That's not fun. You need the crowd. You need the energy, that reaction. So with this, you have a full crowd in the arena, which it's a digital crowd. It's fake. I know. But they also give you the option for the digital crowd when they had like the screens up in the arena that showed people reacting or whatever. So I thought that was pretty interesting. The fact that they actually put that in the game, based off of, current events or whatever. So that was also pretty neat. Not my preferred way of doing things, but it was neat. So with that being said, this has been the Loot Bros podcast. We did a whole outro, originally, but I just scrapped it all because it didn't make any sense for me to cut that back on. It's like, oh, hey, Zach, by the way, say goodbye. So, guys, gals, listen to me. Do me a favor, please. Leave reviews on the iTunes feed. Go to Spotify. Give us a 5-star. Go on our Twitch, The Bearded Nerd, Residentdarrell. Give us a follow. YouTube, the Loot Bros podcast. And if you are so inclined, support us on Patreon. We greatly appreciate you guys, everything that you guys do. We think it's awesome. We love the interactions. And don't forget, in the middle of the month, I'm going to do a mailbag Patreon exclusive episode. So please, if you're a patron, go on there, shoot me some feedback, send me some questions, whatever you got. And if you're not a patron, but you want to get involved, you get in for as little as $1. And that would go a long way for us. So thank you so much for everything. With that being said, I'm out of here. One last thing for all you guys and for all the support you've given us. I know this isn't for everybody, and I always want to make sure I say that. But I do the Ninja Loot band thing, and we are working on a song. So I'm going to leave a little teaser for that song here at the end of the show. Now, this is not the final mix. This is not the mastered version. But it is just a little teaser of what we're working on. And I think it's really cool. So I kind of wanted to put that at the end of the episode just for you. This song was originally called Everybody's Breakdown. And it was a breakdown song that we just said a bunch of silly stuff, some things that may or may not have happened to us during our time, playing music or whatever. A lot of the lyrics and the lines in the original version was just kind of like rude things people said to us, whatever. So we decided we were going to put that song on the album because that was such a fan favorite for the live atmosphere and the live, like playing live or whatever. But when we got in the studio, the more we started messing with it, the more we started to actually write and produce a legit song. So instrumentally, it's not that different, but lyrically, it's completely different. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there for any of you longtime Ninja Loot fans who you're like, hey, wait a minute. That's not my everybody's breakdown. This song is called EVBD.
Separation from the holy God.